Please welcome him.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Esteemed colleagues, distinguished members of the media, and other distinguished guests, citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, and indeed all within the sound of my voice, good morning. Today we gather here to celebrate. We celebrate a year of empowering communities and inspiring sustainable growth as we reflect on the progress that is shaping a brighter future for all of us here in St. Kitts and Nevis. This press conference is a testament to the power of collaboration and impact, showing how every initiative has been designed to uplift our people and designed to strengthen our nation. From sports field to creative stages, from our farms to our small businesses, we are empowering every sector to thrive and contribute to our collective progress here within our country. For us, sports are more than just games. They are engines for community development, and we are empowering our youth and athletes through upgraded sporting facilities, sports tourism, and educational programs as well. Our school sports programs are laying the foundation for future champions while inspiring communities to come together and support our young talent. We fundamentally believe that forging meaningful partnerships is at the heart of sustainable growth, and we are proud to collaborate with local and global stakeholders to create lasting impact. Through our vision, the creative economy stands as a catalyst for growth. And through the launch of the Creative Arts Center and the Creative Arts Fund, we are empowering creatives to turn their passions into sustainable careers. Our grassroots programs like We Village That and the Cook Up remind us of the strength of our living heritage, fostering cultural pride and community togetherness. Furthermore, through cultural initiatives like the Swank Music Competition and the Creative Community Mural Project, we are inspiring a new generation to embrace and celebrate their roots. In the past few years, Sugar Mass has been reimagined to empower our cultural ambassadors and inspire greater participation with increased visibility and support across the board. By enhancing prize monies and participation funds, we are empowering stakeholders and celebrating the creativity and the resilience of our people. Agriculture is an essential key to the sustainable growth, and projects like the Tabasco Hot Pepper Project showcase how we are blending innovation along with tradition to empower our farmers globally. The launch of the hatchery facility at Beaufort is also a groundbreaking step in empowering our agricultural sector and ensuring food security for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, with the commissioning of the enforcement boat Prosperity, we are protecting our marine resources and empowering our fishers to benefit from a thriving blue economy. And as we speak about thriving, we view the cannabis industry as a frontier for sustainable growth. And through the launch of the Cannabis Authority and the policy advancements that we are making, we will be empowering communities to benefit from this emerging sector. Because we recognize that as we develop, our small businesses are and will always be the backbone of our communities. And through programs like Revive to Thrive, we are inspiring entrepreneurs and driving economic growth. By offering training, trade fairs, and access to concessions, we are empowering our entrepreneurs with the tools to succeed and grow sustainably. And through a small business fiscal incentive reform and its committee, we are championing policies that inspire growth and empower businesses, not just to survive, but we are empowering them to thrive. Every initiative launched this year reflects our unwavering commitment to empowering communities and inspiring sustainable growth across all sectors. This is indeed a government of the people, for the people, one that is focused on empowering every single individual to be part of our nation's progress, real progress, and to be part of the success. When we invest in sports and invest in arts, when we invest in culture, agriculture, and entrepreneurship, we are empowering communities and inspiring sustainable growth that benefits everyone. So to our food heroes, our farmers and fishers, to our creatives, to our entrepreneurs, to our athletes, and to you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, you are the heartbeat of our progress, and your empowerment is at the core of our government's mission. Together, we are building a nation where sustainable growth is not just a goal, but it is a reality, driven by empowered communities, committed by a common purpose. So, today and onward, let it be a celebration, and particularly so, 2024, let this be a celebration of a year of progress and impact, as we continue to empower communities, as we continue to inspire growth, as we continue to build a stronger, safer, and more sustainable St. Kitts and Nevis through the efforts and the work of the Ministries of Sports and the Creative Economy, the Ministries of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Marine Resources, the Ministries of Small Business, Entrepreneurship and Cooperatives, and through the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. Thank you. Good morning.
All right, thank you, Minister, for those sound words. We'll now hear from the Ministry of Sports and the Creative Economy and their key achievements, highlights, and overview of what they would have been doing for the year 2024. I turn over to Ms. Valencia Saido, Permanent Secretary.
Good morning, all. Protocols established. Save and accept to recognize in our presence our Honorable Minister, Minister Samal Duggins. I am Valencia Saido, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sports and the Creative Economy. The ministry comprises of two departments, sports managed by Director Jeffrey Hazel. The Creative Economy has two departments within it, the Department of Entertainment, managed by Director Robertine Webb, and Culture by Director Pierre Liebert. During the year, the Ministry of Sports and the Creative Economy sought to empower and develop our human capital. Initiatives to build capacity were implemented both at the staff level and for our stakeholders. Staff was afforded local and overseas training in technical skills enhancement. For example, the head groundsman at the park participated in a curator's workshop in Antigua. A sports officer participated in a kiddies athletic course in St. Vincent. Another journeyed to Trinidad for a course in tennis coaching fundamentals. A cultural officer received training in archiving in Cuba. And a specialist attended a Darcy dance workshop in Slovenia. Our creatives were afforded business training and talent development initiatives through programs like the Creative Power Arts Convention and Accelerate Business Training. To further our mandate to empower our stakeholders, our creative entrepreneurs were able to access grant funding to either develop or enhance their product or to get technical assistance. Grants were also given to our sports federation and our athletes to get assistance for preparation and participation in regional and international sporting competitions. In 2024, the ministry was able to solidify collaboration with private companies and international agencies to ensure the sustainability of our programs. These investments are geared towards facility upgrades for both sports and the arts, policies for safeguarding of our cultural heritage and the further development of our sport product, and for reviving our school sports program. Because of international linkages made, paths were carved for the exposure of the talent of our creatives globally. Initiatives for the preservation and transmission of our cultural heritage were also created and implemented. In 2025, the ministry will continue to do its part towards the Sustainable Island State agenda by encouraging entrepreneurship through the promotion of the arts, promote health through the physical activities in all communities to developing sport nurseries, and continue to utilize sports as a tool for development. Now, at this juncture, I'll apologize for the unavoidable absence of our Director of Sports, Mr. Jeffrey Hazel, and endeavor to highlight these 5 major achievements for his department through the year 2024. The Department of Sports thus far has had a successful year. We've done upgrades to some of our major facilities, installed water tanks at the Maynard Park in Keyon, changed the roofing, and did some work at the Newtown Sports Complex, did renovations at the Halfway Tree Sports Complex, repaired 2 courts in the Pam Tyson Netball Complex, constructed a football stadium at Connery, and did some work to repair a retaining wall in St. Paul's that had fallen. Presently, we are in the process of renovating and replacing the track at the Kim Collins Stadium. As is customary, the Department of Sports is responsible for hosting a series of regional and international events. For the first time this year, we were able to partner with the St. Kitts Netball Association to host the America's Male Netball Championship from September 12th to the 18th. We also hosted the Cricket's West Indies Regional Women's One Day and T20 Championships from March 4th to the 25th. The Eastern Caribbean Volleyball Association Championships from the 30th of August to the 1st of September. And we are looking forward in a few days to host the West Indies Tour of the Caribbean. The West Indies will be playing Bangladesh in the park on December 8th, 10th, and 12th. A feather in the cap for the Department of Sports is the revival of all school sports. We have put a lot of resources into this program because we see the need for it. It's a way to keep the young people occupied, so we have revised, especially right now we are concentrating on football. We've funded the football, netball, and cricket. And for the first time, the ministry and not the schools were able to outfit all of the primary schools and the high schools participating in uniforms. If you look at them, they're all uniform, and that deserves a round of applause. That was a huge investment. And what also deserves a round of applause is most of these competitions are held federally. Football is a federal competition, high school football and high school netball between St. Kitts and Nevis. So on days, the teams journey to Nevis to play, and on other games, Nevis comes over. So that alone is a huge accomplishment for the Department of Sports. In order to carry out our programs, we all know that government cannot do it alone because sometimes resources are limited. So the Department of Sports was able to forge lots of partnerships this year. One of the biggest partnership is the one that we forged with Jones Group Limited. I told you about these uniforms, and outfitting all these uniforms would have cost somewhere in the region of $127,000, and most of that was donated by Jones Group Limited. So that deserves a round of applause. We also got some injection from the National Bank Group of Companies, Caribou Breweries, Nelson Water, the Sandian Power Aid, Sun Island Clothes, Apple Cider, Elita Sports, Fritz Bakery, and give me a moment because all of these sponsors deserve mention because their help, the investment is really appreciated. Warner's One Stop, Unlimited Supplies, Esken Sports Supplies, Ram Group of Companies, Island Auto Supplies, Bees Delight, Green Valley Gas Station, KP Electronics, Alice Construction. And it's important to note that some of these entities are small businesses. In my overview, I alluded to the exposure of some of our athletes, and that is another something that the Department of Sports is proud of. I told you about our head groundsman going to Antigua for training. I told you about another going to St. Vincent. Now, in short order, 2 of our coaches will be journeying to Argentina to participate in another coaching workshop. Out of the Jones Group high school football competition that was held last year, five young men were scouted, and they are presently playing for Mona High School in Jamaica, Savvy K. Morton from the Washington Archibald High School, Nikon Allen from Bastia High School, Franklin Mitchum, Kevonte Phipps, and Dequanje Libert from the Charleston, from the Keon High School. Those young men deserve a round of applause. Coming up shortly in the month of December, we are going to have a Venom soccer performance to host some football clinics here in Warner Park for primary school children. A youth netball team out of Trinidad will tour the island during the second week of December to engage our young and upcoming netball players from the secondary school. And shortly, we are in the process of putting plans in place to ensure that all our coaches are first aid certified. We have signed an MOU with Sussex Cricket Club out of the UK to provide some assistance with us with the development of our cricket. In short order, that is just a synopsis of all the achievements of the Department of Sports. I can go on, but time is of the essence. Thank you. I now have my director of one of the directors in the creative economy, the entertainment unit, Ms. Verity Webb.
Good morning, everyone. A department that I am most honored to lead, the Department of Creative Economy, just about 2 years old and has already made significant strides for our creatives within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I would list what the top 5 accomplishments, although many, were for 2024. The first being career development for professional creatives and emerging creatives. We had Accelerate, the business training program for creatives. We covered over 10 areas in business, including grant writing, law, financing, branding and marketing, business ideation, scaling, networking, and industry engagement, work-life balance. Another initiative, Harmony and Hues, a platform for emerging artists to perform in an acoustic setting, and also another networking event for our creatives. We had also 3 to 4 Creatives Connect, which is another networking event where creatives come together, share ideas, recommendations, and challenges, and discuss initiatives. This contributes towards the strategic planning and policy development for the creative industries. Another part under the career development is our Creatives Catalog. This is a platform where registered creatives where we provide accessible incentives, networking opportunities, verified status, and a dedicated and enhanced online profile interface that's accessible to the public and potential clients for our creatives. Our second accomplishment, grassroots arts programs. This includes camps and workshops. One of them is the DJ workshop, which we had one for kids and adults. This was led by our cultural ambassador, Kishan DJ Terror Henry. We also had the drum dynamics workshop, which was done during Easter. The fusion arts camp, which were 3 disciplines joined together to create a camp. They were steel pan, djembe drumming, and dance. We also had the Desi dance workshop, and our school dance and drumming program still continues, and we have expanded into many more primary and our preschools. And so we're excited to see what those recitals would look like for our preschools in 2025. Our third accomplishment, it's an unprecedented initiative, one that I am most excited about, our home for creatives, our Creative Arts Center. The groundbreaking state-of-the-art world-class Creative Arts Center, led by Prime Development, is scheduled for the first quarter in 2025. And so I look forward to that, and I'm sure all of our creatives would look forward to this development. Our fourth accomplishment, the Creative Arts Fund. It is most important to state that over 55 creative individuals, groups, and enterprises were awarded these grants. And, PSI would have mentioned what the various types of grants were. And over $250,000 were awarded in these grants. And the fifth accomplishment, the Creative Power Arts Convention and arts business competitions. Over 25 international renowned creative experts came to our shores in September. Over 90 presentations, masterclasses, seminars were hosted. Over 250 participants. We also had fringe events during that convention week. We had the Den, which was our creative enterprise pitch competition, and this was also sponsored by the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, where one person won $20,000 by their presentation in pitching their creative business. That person was Lucid, and I also want to give her congratulations, as yesterday I attended her launch for her business, well, the expansion of her business. And so these are ways we have been empowering our creatives. Additionally, we had the Claws Nail Art Competition, Spotlight Talent Competition, our trade show and career expo, the Arts Install, Paint and Connect, and the Creative Power Gala and Awards, where we honored over 10 creatives in various sectors in the creative arts. Once viewed as a budding industry for hobbyists, the Department of Creative Economy is now poised to redefine the trajectory of the arts, entertainment, and creative sectors in St. Kitts and Nevis and beyond. With a strategic vision and a growing legacy of impactful achievements, our department is set to become the driving force behind innovation and cultural excellence, positioning St. Kitts and Nevis as the premier hub for creativity and the arts in the Caribbean. These milestones are not just markers of our progress, but a testament to the transformative potential of our creative economy. Together, we are building a future where creativity fuels economic growth, inspires cultural pride, and cements our place as leaders in the global creative industry. Thank you.
Okay, up next from the Department of Creative Economy Culture Unit, Pierre Liebert, Director Pierre Liebert.
Thank you, Pierre Sider. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to adopt the protocol already established. My name is Pierre Liebert, and I'm the Director of Culture, Cultural Heritage. And this year we had a fairly ambitious agenda to develop and implement programming and policies to safeguard the cultural heritage. In the beginning of the year, a number of concepts were developed to identify and address some critical gaps in our approach to safeguarding our cultural heritage. A number of partnerships were developed, and that work continues to today. A number of initiatives which I haven't listed as part of the top 5, but I think are still important, continue. Primary among those is the development of our ICH, Intangible Cultural Heritage Policy, which we hope to have completed by the end of this year. And that would have been contributed to by a number of stakeholders, many of whom who never considered that they are actually stakeholders in the safeguarding of our cultural heritage. And that yielded quite a bit of information and will go into the shaping of the policy and guiding our approach going forward. One of the highlights this year was our execution of the April We Village That community celebration and acknowledgement of excellence in community members. That was held in Connery in April, early April, and it recognized a number of community members who would have given genuine service, outstanding service to the community and ensuring the development of individuals and the community as a whole. And it was hosted by prominent Connery member, Mr. Delwayne Delaney, and supported by a number of excited residents and supporters of the area, and featured remarks by the Honorable Prime Minister and our Minister. The team thereafter did the preliminary work to identify other communities and individuals around St. Kitts to receive similar commendations, so we're prepared to execute that in the new year, so look out for more editions of We Village That. As the Minister indicated, we launched this year 2 half-hour programs designed to bring greater attention to and celebrate our cultural heritage across various fields and various domains, and to celebrate our practitioners and knowledge bearers of our intangible cultural heritage. First is the Living Heritage, which is a pre-recorded and produced program helmed by Ms. Alicia Daniel Blake, our Communication and Research Officer, in partnership with creative persons in the private sector, as well as in ZIZ and the field. The show could be viewed every other Thursday on ZIZ from 10 a.m. and with rebroadcasting. On the days when the Living Heritage is not being viewed, we have our live program, and that is the Cook-Up, and we invite, again, prominent figures and often unsung figures in the preservation of our cultural heritage to bring greater attention to them and highlight their work and encourage persons to lend their support and inspire younger generations to take up the mantle and keep our cultural heritage alive. One of our creatives and cultural practitioners, the Minister, would have joined us for one of those episodes. I invite you to take a look at them. If you haven't seen them live, you could visit our YouTube page, and that's St. Kitts Culture on YouTube, and enjoy the programming. We anticipate many more of those to come forward. Another guest included the gentleman right next to me, in fact, renowned calypsonian and cultural advocate, Mr. Clement O'Gara. So we invite you to view those. The ICH Core Knowledge Transfer Camp would have started in the December period and designed to expose our young persons to seasoned cultural practitioners and spend some time under the tutelage to learn the arts of our, different folklore. This year, and that usually happened in December, this year saw our first summer edition, where we invited persons to, again, be exposed to that training from our seasoned practitioners. We would have trained approximately 45 young persons from across St. Kitts in the different folklores of clowns, actors, mummies, and string band, and expose them to herbal remedy information as well. We are preparing to execute the next edition, that is the December session, which runs from December 9th to the 20th at the St. Johnson's Community Center, and we will be introducing Makajumbi to round that off as well. So they'll be receiving 2 weeks of training, and thereafter have the opportunity to participate in our junior carnival to display their newly acquired skills and knowledge, and take their role, their rightful place in safeguarding and keeping alive our cultural practices. The adult iteration of that we call our masterclass, and we have established partnerships with different individuals and groups to execute those trainings. So I'll take this opportunity to invite persons who are interested in learning stonemasonry, coal production, and leathercraft to make yourself known and register with the department so that we could ensure that you have access to these training opportunities. The Creative Community Mural Project is ongoing, and that is an initiative, a very important initiative, to help us to acknowledge, celebrate, and to share our rich cultural heritage. I know many of us would have heard the Minister, the PS, and others speak about how rich and diverse the cultural heritage of St. Kitts and Nevis is, the history. The inherent value of our history and cultural heritage cannot be described, and for too long I don't think we've capitalized as much as we can on the richness of it. And this initiative is intended to bring to the fore many of the stories of our past, many of the aspects of our lived heritage, our cooking, our music, our dance, our folklore, our practices, social and otherwise, festivals and so forth, and celebrate them in beautiful, grand, visual murals, and do that not just in Bastia, but across St. Kitts. And you would have seen a number of murals being painted by some of our creative, talented artists, Minister, and some young persons as well. These murals are displayed in Sandy Point. We have one ongoing. St. Paul's is completed, Parsons is completed and expanded. Mansion as well. You have paintings in Molyneux. One started in Sandown Road and Wellington Road and Challengers, and more to come on stream. And the impact of these is significant and diverse. I, for one, try a thing at a few of these murals, and I could tell you firsthand that the level of appreciation from the various communities is overwhelming, and it stands to benefit the community and the tourism product as well, as I've seen them, taking the sites. The next initiative is the Swank Creative Cultural Music Challenge, and that is intended to support the safeguarding of our oral tradition and performing arts. And paired with that is our griot initiative. But this morning we're discussing the Swank, and that was intended again to encourage our creative persons to infuse more of our cultural heritage into our local music, and to have that to educate, celebrate us, and to have it for posterity and generations to come. The initiative was launched in September, and registration ended in November 1st. By that date, we would have had 4 submissions. And I don't envy the judges for the work that they had to do in identifying the best of those performances. Not everybody could win, but we also want to encourage persons to continue this sort of work. So this morning, with the Minister's leave, we would be announcing those winners, and this is something that we want to see continued. And following this year, we intend to further enhance and perhaps even expand the program. But this morning, I'll invite Miss Adams to assist me in identifying and lending some incentives of encouragement to those persons who will participate. And I'll also invite the minister to join me up front as we make that announcement.
Good morning to everyone. Please allow me to adopt the protocol so ably established. Sorry. Yes. So this morning, without further ado, we would like to present certificates of participation to Mr. Javid Allen. Come, please. Mr. Omari Fleming. And Mr. Victor Payne. I would like to make mention of the Odyssey Band from Nevis who could not be here with us this morning. And finally, the big announcement, the winner of our inaugural swank competition is Mr. Javid Allen, who managed to not only win one category, but all three categories of the competition, which was Best Rhythm, Best Lyrics, and the People's Choice. Let us congratulate him. I hope this is encouragement for more submissions in the following years for the Swank Creative Cultural Arts Music Competition.
Thank you, Mr. Liebert, and thanks to the staff of the Department of Culture. Give them another round of applause. We now move to a statutory body that falls under the remit of the Ministry of Sport and the Creative Economy, the National Carnival Secretariat. We have the director, Mr. Clement Monarch Ogaro.
Good morning. As Pierre Sider said, my name is Clement Monarch Ogaro, Director of St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival. And this brief report will chronicle most of our successes, or some of our successes, for the past year. The St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee introduced the annual Sugar Mass Awards in 2022. Since the inaugural event, over 150 carnival stakeholders has been honored for their meritorious contributions to carnival in St. Kitts Nevis over the years. The increased visibility of Sugar Mass is clearly evident. Sugar Mass is now a cultural and tourism product, catering not only to the local market, but to returning nationals, regional and international carnival lovers, and also the tourists that grace our shores. In 2022, air arrivals during the Sugar Mass period increased by over 20% from the previous year. Now, we have formed solid and long-term partnerships with several government ministries to assist in the production, execution, and promotion of Sugar Mass, the largest annual national event. The Department of Youth Empowerment is now responsible for the execution of our Junior Carnival, which takes place this year on the 28th of December. The Ministry of Tourism and Tourism Authority continues to assist in promotion and marketing to international audiences, and the Department of Creative Economy is responsible for the opening of Carnival, Midnight Escape, In the Spirit of Christmas, and the Folklore Avenue. The SKNNCC has also partnered with the troops, bands, calypso tents, and private promoters since 2022 to provide financial support and in-kind support as well. The St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee has consecutively been able to increase prize monies and participation funds for various national events such as Panorama, and the Panorama prize money has moved from 15,000 all the way up to 30,000 this year. And this, of course, contributes to the success of the competition, and the Panorama, as you know, it has been one of our well-attended event for the past couple of years. In 2023, as a result of partnerships created by Minister Samal Duggins, the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee introduced a full scholarship for the winner of the Miss St. Kitts Nevis Queen Pageant, in addition to her prize money, of course. As we continue to strive, Sugar Mass 53 and beyond is gearing up for another bumper season of culture, mass, and revelry. This signature homegrown product is thankful, of course, for Minister Samuel Duggins and all of our stakeholders and service providers. As we continue to empower our stakeholders and do our part to establish sustainable growth in the Federation, we encourage and remind you that there's only one place to be, Sugar Mass 53, right here in St. Kitts Nevis. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it on? All right. Thank you to the Ministry of Sports and Creative Economy for your valuable insights. Congratulations to the winner of the Swank Cultural Competition. And without further ado, we are now going to move to the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Marine Resources to hear about the strides they have been making in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Greetings, everyone. Today I'm pleased to share the remarkable progress achieved by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources as we continue to advance sustainable practices for economic growth. We've made significant strides, starting with marine, with our improved regulations and strengthened collaborations, enhancing governance and partnerships within the sector. Our facility upgrades across the different complexes have provided a modernized workspace for our fishers. And in our sustainability efforts, the fish pots with biodegradable panels that we distributed to our fishers across St. Kitts and Nevis, promoting environmentally responsible practices, and the commissioning of the Enforcement Board Prosperity now enhances our capacity to protect our marine resources. Additionally, we are currently undertaking the evaluation of the St. Kitts Nevis Marine Management Area, ensuring its alignment with our conservation and economic goals. On the agricultural front, the launch of the Tabasco Hot Pepper Project has diversified our crop offerings, opening pathways for export opportunities. We've improved our land preparation services, ensuring better yields, and distributed hundreds of thousands of high-quality planting materials to our farmers to support productivity. The newly launched hatchery facility at Beaufort is a game changer for our poultry production, enhancing food security. And finally, the expansion of our storage capacity at the Department of Agriculture bolsters our capacity to manage and distribute agricultural outputs effectively. These achievements reflect our commitment to our innovation, sustainability, and economic resilience in the agricultural and marine sectors. Thank you.
Good morning to all. Allow me to recognize the protocol that was so ably established. My name is Alfonso Clark, Deputy Director at the Department of Agriculture in St. Kitts. The Department of Agriculture is proud to share several milestones from this year, reflecting our commitment to empowering communities, inspiring sustainable growth, and delivering progress and impact. These achievements strengthen food security, promote innovation, and build resilience for a sustainable future. Recently, we launched the Tabasco Pepper Project to diversify agricultural production, boost exports, and position our sector for greater international competitiveness. This initiative empowers farmers and promotes sustainable economic growth. With 2 additional tractors and a new backhoe, we have advanced land preparation, improving farm access and productivity despite rainfall challenges. These investments equip farmers to meet growing demands. Under our 25 by 25 program, we have distributed high-quality planting materials, including 150,000 pineapple suckers and 30,000 banana and plantain suckers. This effort supports crop diversity, increase yields, and strengthen food security. It was just last month we opened the Beerford's hatchery facility in partnership with the Republic of China and Taiwan with a capacity of 20,000 chicks annually. This facility marks a major step forward in poultry production and food security for agriculture sustainability. We have expanded our cold storage through 2 new trails at the Tabernacle Outreach Center, reefer containers at our Lagreed Station, and very shortly at the Bastia Abattoir and the Bastia Fisheries Complex, and other key sites. These enhancements ensure better preservation and distribution of produce, reducing waste, and supporting food security. The milestone listed demonstrate the department's dedication to empowering communities, driving agricultural innovation, and fostering resilience. As we reflect on this year of progress and impact, we remain focused on building a stronger, sustainable future for all. I thank you.
My name is Randall Thompson, Director of Marine Resources. Allow me to adopt the established protocol. It is my pleasure to address you today and provide an update on the strides the Department of Marine Resources has made in 2024 to strengthen the fisheries and marine sector of St. Kitts and Nevis. This progress is critical to our efforts in promoting sustainability, improving livelihoods, and enhancing collaboration within the sector. In July, legal consultants from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, assisted us in drafting the fisheries regulations under the Fisheries, Aquaculture, and Marine Resources Act. These regulations are designed to strengthen the resource management and to combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, known as IUU fishing. A memorandum of understanding was developed and signed between the Department of Marine Resources and the Department of Maritime Affairs. This agreement underscores our commitment to effective interagency cooperation and information exchange to support the efforts of St. Kitts and Nevis to meet its flag state responsibilities to help prevent, deter, and eliminate IUU fishing. Our government has made significant investments in fisheries infrastructure. We would have renovated both the Old Road and fisheries complexes. We would have also seen the reopening of the Old Road Fish Depot that marked a milestone, which was a milestone event. Fishers can now sell their catch to the complex. The fish is processed and then sold to the general public. We are also working on the development of a fisheries complex in Deep Bay at the old Deep Bay Fish Carp building site. This facility will include spaces for fishers to store and process their catch, along with a meeting area to foster community engagement. Under our capital project, Basse Fisheries Complex Rehabilitation and Development, we will have renovations at the complex, which includes upgraded locker rooms for fishers, a conference room, a fuel station for fishers to fuel their vessels, and a marine mechanic area to ensure our fishers have the tools and resources to operate effectively. We remain committed to equipping our fisher folk with the tools they need for sustainable fishing practices and safety. Through the Coast Fish Project, we distributed biodegradable fish pots to reduce ghost fishing and improve marine biodiversity. To enhance safety, we provided fishers with raincoats to prepare for adverse weather conditions. Additionally, we deployed 8 artificial reefs constructed from steel and conch shells supplied by our local fishers to help to restore marine environment ecosystems and increase our fish stocks. Our basic fisher folk training program has also been instrumental in building capacity. We conducted workshops on constructing biodegradable fish pots and partnered with the World Academy of Safety and Health to deliver basic water rescue training, ensuring that our fishers are well prepared to operate safely and sustainably. To enhance enforcement, we commissioned the enforcement vessel Prosperity, acquired through Japan's grant aid program. This vessel enables us to strengthen national security and address issues such as IUU fishing. The vessel will also be used to help rescue fishers lost at sea and those who may need assistance if necessary while on sea. This vessel will also be used. Our fisheries enforcement officer, Shorin Julius, he has been conducting joint patrols with the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force Coast Guard, demonstrating our commitment to safeguarding our waters. As the department looks forward to the establishment of the St. Kitts Nevis Marine Management Area, in August we adopted the globally recognized Management Effectiveness Tracking Tool, better known as MET, which is a tool that assesses the effectiveness of how marine management areas are being managed. It helps the department assess its strengths, its weaknesses, areas requiring attention, and the resources needed to improve the management of the space. This was a participatory process and not something that the department was doing on its own. Stakeholders were actively involved, and we received assistance from the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, and the OECS Commission. While the results of the MET assessment are not yet available, the findings will be shared in short time. This process is intended to be ongoing, enabling us to continually monitor and enhance the management of the SK and MMA. It is also crucial to recognize that while the Department of Marine Resources has the legal mandate to manage this space, all citizens have a role to play in ensuring the St. Kitts Nevis Marine Management Area meets the need of the country as a whole. In closing, we recognize that the health of our fisheries and marine ecosystems is vital to the prosperity of our nation as we carry out our sustainable island state agenda. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you. My name is Jeanne Williams-Knight. I'm the chairperson of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority Board of Directors. So what has been happening towards the development of a sustainable cannabis industry that works for our people? There are 4 things I wish to highlight from 2024. The Board of Directors of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority was instituted, and the first of several meetings was held on July 4th. The primary objective of a Board of Directors is to guide, oversee, and validate the work of the authority. Now, the qualifications and varied backgrounds of the board ensures that the views and perspectives of a wide cross-section of our communities and government agencies are continuously reflected in the policies and work of the authority. Within the Board of Directors, 2 board committees have been created to address 2 critical areas of the authority. The first is the Human Resource and Administration Subcommittee that is responsible for directing the strategies to transform the authority into a statutory body, as outlined in the Cannabis Act. Therefore, it is necessary for the authority to develop its own policies relating to staff, employment, organizational structure, strategic planning, finance and budgeting, and similar matters. The second subcommittee is responsible for licensing policy implementation, and their mandate includes planning the rollout of the licensing regime, taking into account crucial interest groups such as traditional farmers and the Rastafari community to ensure that they are empowered and positioned to reap benefits of the industry. Now, we know that many are eager for the takeoff, the licensing takeoff. So with a board now in place, our priority has shifted to launch a fully staffed and fully outfitted office space to give the public designated persons and a physical space where they can go to have their questions answered. This therefore leads to our second highlight of the year, which is the advertisement of vacancies for 4 positions to support the CEO of the authority. The application period was recently closed, and now we will begin going through them to shortlist candidates. We thank all those who applied, and we are encouraged by the overwhelming interest. We hope to begin filling these positions in early 2025. Thirdly, I wish to highlight for 2024 that there is an ongoing local and regional policy and legislative review to ensure that licensing implementation can be smooth, effective, and truly empowering. This review is also informed by discussions and research that is taking place in the region through the Caribbean Cannabis Forum, which is a mechanism for cannabis authorities throughout the region to discuss cannabis matters and industry developments. I wish to highlight as our final highlight that in May this year, St. Kitts and Nevis, through the authority's acting CEO, Dr. Garfield Alexander, was selected as the chairperson of this regional body, and so we congratulate him, and we know with his positioning, we are sure to remain on the cutting edge of the region's cannabis happenings. So in the context of agriculture, to use an analogy from agriculture, I would say overall in 2024, the authority has figuratively been preparing the soil and of the cannabis industry by making sure that the foundational work is done and done well and is well informed. We are confident that with the support of the Ministry of Agriculture and our other governmental partners, that in 2025, we will begin to plant and reap the benefits that will empower communities and realize sustainable growth through cannabis. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Agriculture is truly on the move in St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, I'll invite the Ministry of Small Business, Entrepreneurship and Cooperatives to give their overview and highlights.
Good morning again, everyone. Allow me to adopt the protocol that has so ably been established previously. It is my privilege to highlight how the Ministry of Small Business, Entrepreneurship and Cooperatives have reaffirmed its commitment to the growth and development of the MSME and cooperative sector through our 2024 achievements. Empowering entrepreneurs. We have actively supported entrepreneurship by providing innovative programs and fostering meaningful engagement. This commitment was evident through our Global Entrepreneurship Week 2024, where we launched the Shop Small Days, encouraging the public to support small businesses in the heart of Bastia. We also collaborated with Sniper to host a youth parliament that debated the reform of the Small Business Act, empowering young leaders to shape the future of the sector. This week culminated in a business summit and award ceremony where we honored 10 outstanding businesses from various sectors and a small business mixer in partnership with ASAP to create a platform for networking and knowledge sharing amongst small businesses. Programs like Revive to Thrive, MSME Makeovers TV show, scheduled for the first episode to be aired in a few weeks, we assisted the transformation of a number of businesses. I also announced last week at our business summit the launch of our new Building Bankable Businesses Financial Literacy Program set to begin in January 2025, which seeks to enhance the financial capabilities of small businesses, underscoring our commitment to providing tools and opportunities that drive growth. Locally and regionally, initiatives such as trade fairs and collaborations like the St. Croix AgroFest and the Trinidad Manufacturing Expo amplifies visibility for our entrepreneurs, strengthening MSMEs foundations. Through the SBDC, we have advanced capacity building and technical support. This year alone, we processed almost 100 import duty concessions, conducted monthly business consultations, and hosted specialized training workshops in partnership with organizations like Caribbean Development Bank and ECLAC. Importantly, we established the Small Business Fiscal Incentive Reform Committee, a major step towards modernizing the Small Business Development Act to better support the evolving needs of MSMEs. Supporting the cooperative department. In the cooperative sector, we expanded opportunities for growth and visibility. Our training programs equipped corporate societies with essential skills in governance and leadership, while events like the Taste and See and the AgroStrip provided access to new markets. We also focused on the next generation, hosting events such as the #1 quiz in St. Kitts and Nevis, the primary school cooperative school quiz, and the annual Easter workshop to build cooperative awareness and engagements amongst the youth. These achievements reflect our unwavering commitment to creating a vibrant ecosystem that supports small businesses and cooperative. By promoting innovation, providing resources, and facilitating meaningful connections, we are empowering these sectors to drive economic growth, resilience, and inclusive development. Thank you. I'll now turn over to Mrs. Erla Clark Allen, Director for Cooperatives.
Good morning, everyone. And Madam Chair, with your leave, I wish to establish or wish to ask leave for the protocol that was previously established. Thank you for the opportunity to share the strides that we have made at the Department of Cooperatives in fulfilling our mandate of empowering communities and inspiring sustainable growth. Our work in regulating and guiding non-credit union cooperative societies spans diverse areas, including farmer, fisher, agro-processing, beekeeping, taxi, and apex cooperatives, along with 8 secondary and 19 primary school cooperatives, totaling 35 active cooperatives. This year has been one of significant progress and impact, with a focus on 3 key pillars: training, engagement, and education. Through these efforts, we have aimed to build capacity, strengthen connections, and empower the next generation of cooperative leaders. Let me highlight some of the initiatives under each of these pillars. So under training, building capacity for sustainable growth. In alignment with our mission to foster sustainable growth, the first quarter of this year saw a significant investment in capacity building through targeted training workshops. These sessions covered critical topics such as financial literacy, leadership and teamwork, board member roles and responsibilities, record keeping, and group dynamics. The goal was to enhance cooperative management and ensure compliance with the Cooperative Societies Act, empowering cooperatives to function more effectively and sustainably. Our annual Junior Savings Workshop was held under the theme, Investing for the Future. It equipped children in the junior savings cooperatives, what we commonly know as school banking, with hands-on banking experience. So 18 primary schools across the Federation participated, providing students with skill in banking procedures, cooperative history, and financial adaptability. These initiatives empower our youth to rise as future leaders in cooperative development. Under increased engagement, connecting communities and driving economic impact. To inspire economic activity and strengthen community ties, we hosted several impactful events. Taste and See. This Cooperative Week initiative connected cooperatives with stakeholders in the restaurant, hotel, and retail industries. By showcasing cooperative products and services, we expanded market opportunities and facilitated meaningful relationships that drive growth. The Agro Strip, held during the music festival. This event showcased cooperative goods to locals and to returning nationals. It fostered collaboration, strengthened community connections, and celebrated our cooperative culture. Community awareness projects. As part of Cooperative Week, we erected signs for SPACs, the Sandy Point Agricultural Cooperative Society, and the Gideon Force Cooperative Society in Virchiles. These visible markers symbolize the presence and the impact of cooperatives in our communities, thereby encouraging engagement and awareness. And under education, empowering the next generation. Our commitment to sustainable growth extends to education as evidenced by the recently held SKNNCL, that's the St. Kitts Nevis National Cooperative League, Department of Cooperatives Primary School Quiz. This premier event featured 21 schools in preliminaries and 8 in the final competition. It nurtured an early understanding of cooperatives. By planting seeds of cooperative knowledge in our youth, we are empowering them to contribute to the sector in the future. In closing, our efforts this year have been dedicated to empowering communities and inspiring sustainable growth through training, engagement, and education. These initiatives reflect our unwavering commitment to creating a more connected and resilient cooperative sector. Thank you.
We'll now have Miss Leah Cragg-Chatterton doing the presentation on behalf of small business and entrepreneurship.
Pleasant good morning to all. I'm thrilled today to have the honor to present our key initiatives that have been empowering our communities and inspiring sustainable growth throughout the year to date. This has truly been a year of growth and transformation supported by strategic collaborations, and we're excited to share some of our milestones. First, we'll start with the Department of Entrepreneurship. Through the Revive to Thrive Business Makeover TV show, we hosted 7 local businesses to participate in a transformative journey. They are receiving expert guidance and strategic interventions, and they're receiving the support they need to grow, succeed, and demonstrate how MISMEs in our federation can overcome challenges and thrive in today's competitive market. Through a powerful partnership with the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, we provided critical capacity training to startups and aspiring entrepreneurs alike. This collaboration focused on empowering individuals with the skills and knowledge to launch successful, sustainable businesses, strengthening their foundation. Through this strengthening of their foundation, we are indeed fostering the next generation of entrepreneurs who will then be ready to make an impact on our economy. Last week, as you heard P.S. Taylor mention, as part of our Global Entrepreneurship Week celebrations, we successfully hosted the inaugural annual Small Business Awards at the Entrepreneurship Exchange Summit and Awards ceremony. The event celebrated the incredible achievements of our local entrepreneurs, recognizing their contribution to the economic development of our country via categories such as business resilience, women in business, people's choice, and of course the highly coveted Entrepreneur of the Year award, to name a few. This marks a major milestone in acknowledging the outstanding businesses that are driving innovation and growth within our federation. The ministry also, through the Department of Entrepreneurship, facilitated brand visibility for our local entrepreneurs at regional trade fairs both in St. Croix and Trinidad. Ministry staff attended these fairs, showcasing products from local entrepreneurs and providing them with an opportunity to connect with international buyers. The initiative helps to increase market access and positions our local entrepreneurs on the global stage. In collaboration with the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank Limited, we've launched the Building Bankable Businesses Financial Literacy Program, which is set to roll out, as P.S. Taylor mentioned, early 2025. Upon completion of the program, entrepreneurs will not only gain essential financial skills, but most importantly, increase their approval eligibility under approval eligibility to the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank suite of loan products under their Banking on Small Business campaign. This program will truly enable the department to continue its work of building bridges to financial solutions. Turning to the Department of Small Business Development, our monthly training sessions have been empowering local entrepreneurs with essential skills. This year, key topics covered included digital marketing, bookkeeping, and social media marketing, which we can all agree are vital for businesses looking to scale in today's digital world. These sessions provided entrepreneurs with practical knowledge to improve their operations and enhance their competitiveness in the market. Through our partnership with the Caribbean Development Bank, we are currently entering the final stage of a dynamic 3-topic, 3-month workshop series designed specifically for existing businesses. This series serves to equip businesses with critical skills to strengthen their operations, improve their management practices, thus driving sustainable growth. As P.S. Taylor mentioned earlier, the ministry has processed nearly 100 applications for import duty concessions. While we don't approve the applications in-house, we assist the businesses tremendously in preparing the necessary documentation, and we advocate ferociously on their behalf to the Ministry of Finance. Through our support, it ensures that once approved, the businesses can access these concessions, significantly reducing costs and helping improve their bottom line. Our commitment to supporting business growth includes providing one-on-one consultations on critical areas such as marketing, business management, and record keeping. We go beyond consultations at the department by reinforcing these sessions with field visits, follow-up phone calls, and additional hands-on support, ensuring that businesses have the essential guidance they need to overcome challenges and thrive. Finally, the creation of the Small Business Fiscal Incentive Reform Committee is a crucial step towards building a sustainable policy framework and a practical one. The committee is currently working to revise the Small Business Development Act to ensure that policies remain responsive and relevant to the needs of today's entrepreneurs and continue to foster long-term growth. As I wrap up, I must reiterate that 2024 has indeed been a year of tremendous transformative growth. Through programs like Revive to Thrive, the acceleration of our capacity development initiatives, and the Small Business Awards, we are empowering entrepreneurs and communities alike. Together, we're building a foundation for sustainable growth that will continue to benefit our economy for years to come. Thank you kindly for your time and attention.
All right. I want to thank all of the ministries, all of the permanent secretaries, directors, and the minister for making their presentations. And we now get into the exciting part of the press conference, the question and answer portion. But just a couple of housekeeping matters. Could you please turn your phones on silent or vibrate to facilitate the rest of the press conference? For this segment, all of the questions will be directed to the minister, who will then delegate to the respective departments. When asking your questions, please state your name and the name of the media house that you represent. You can ask 2 questions, I repeat, 2 questions at a time for smooth flow of the proceedings and give the minister and the permanent secretaries and directors adequate time to respond. We will alternate between the media houses and those attending virtually. Just a quick note, any questions outside of the press conference are strongly encouraged not to be asked. I don't want any questions about a double salary. This is not the forum for that, okay? Okay, so now we'll open the floor for questions. We have a floating mic in the back.
Good. Oh, it's still morning. Good morning, German Abel, SKN Vibes. I have 2 questions with multiple parts. So I don't know if that's okay with you, Madam Chair?
Just as long as they're brief, thanks.
Anyways, while we accept all the information that has been provided this morning by the panel, much of what you guys indicated seems as PR information rather than giving the public the overarching work of the ministries. We got the positives, but we did not get the challenges, probably with the exception of Carnival, the Cannabis Committee, and to an extent, the Department of Culture. What specifically are the issues that the ministries, the departments face in carrying out its duties? I know, for example, the discussion centered around, for the marine resources, for example, you talked about legislation about overfishing and encroaching on St. Kitts and Nevis' territorial waters. Give us some more information regarding how many of these issues have you come across for the year? Did fishermen from St. Kitts and Nevis encroach in other territorial waters? What were the discussions surrounding this? Agriculture, Mr. PS, you know I like to ask questions regarding agriculture. Issues of climate change. We talk about all of these plans that you have. What are some of the challenges facing the agriculture sector that the government, specifically the ministry, the Department of Agriculture, focused on as priority areas for 2024? I know you mentioned a lot of what was done, but specifically, can you give us the root of this? Because I think this is what the public wants to know, what the work that the departments and ministries would have undertaken for the year.
I wish to thank SKM Vibes for that question. And as you mentioned, the idea of challenges, you would reckon that every department would have its own unique challenge in executing its role and duties. And you indicated that you would have heard some of those challenges expressed. But as you asked specifically for marine resources and agriculture, in your question, I would direct the question over to Marine Resources, the Director, Mr. Thompson, and then over to the PS of Agriculture, Mr. Fleming.
Thank you very much for your question. In terms of the question where you talk about encroaching and, repeat again? Economic EEZ, good. So our capabilities at this moment is we're able to patrol our waters at this point in time. As we mentioned about the commissioning of the new vessel, right? So we've been doing patrol with Coast Guard. So in terms of the number, I would have seen at least 4 over the past months where our enforcement officer would have stopped people. He would have gone and boarded vessels, right? And found that people would have been, abusing the law, okay? And he would have called them into our office and have a sit down and let them know how they would have infringed on the laws of the waters for St. Kitts Nevis, right? So that's one thing. In terms of those who would have infringed on the laws in terms of going into other territorial waters, at this point, we don't really have the capabilities locally in terms of to monitor per se. But what we have in store, what we have coming on stream is that we would have bought vessel monitoring system that will go on each fishing vessel. And this would allow us to monitor locally where every fishing vessel go daily. So we would know who is fishing in waters that they shouldn't, and from there we'll be able to say, okay, this is the case. John or Joe would have infringed on the law here and there, and this is how we will deal with the matter. Okay?
Is there any interaction with your partners, whether it be St. Martin, wherever it is, in terms of any feedback?
Hardly ever. Over the past year and a half, I have not had any interaction of that sort.
Yes, I'll just touch on 6 items, and some of them were mentioned before. Land preparation was a major challenge for us, and so we were able to employ a new agricultural engineer who is with us today, and I think she's doing a wonderful job, and we have made significant improvement in land preparation services. Mr. Clark mentioned being able to purchase a new backhoe, because you still need to be able to get to the farm roads, and so we are doing a lot of work on that as well, and in maintaining the farm roads, and that has helped us to get to the farm. So I think the farmers right now are very happy that we're able to acquire our new tractors, and they're able to get their land duly prepared. Storage was one of the things mentioned. That was one of the major challenges. When we look at traditionally what has happened is that you would have one chill with at least 5 different crops, right? And for example, cabbages, they're ethylene sensitive, and you might have another produce in that same storage facility that is releasing ethylene. So we thought that it was very important for us to expand on our storage capacity so that we can have individual storage chills for individual crops, so that we can set those chills to the right temperature for longer periods. Market access. The market in St. Kitts and Nevis is very small, but even though it is very small, right, we are still not able to meet the production goals for each area. And so the storage come into play in this instance, in expanding our storage capacity so farmers can produce more. But when we talk about accessing regional markets, we wanted to ensure that we are well prepared to enter those markets as well. So we have since ordered, I think, thousands of different boxes for the different commodities, because traditionally, again, when you look at how the produce get to the supermarkets, they're in onion bags, and every produce should not go to the supermarkets or restaurant in onion bags, because the produce get bruised and all those type of things, which cause them to spoil faster and get infected and those type of things. So we have since imported a wide range of boxes for cabbages, bell peppers, carrots, the whole works. You spoke about climate change. Production in the outdoor is always a challenge, and we have since repaired a number of structures, greenhouse structures, and we are set to repair a number of additional structures. So I think this is very important to look at the existing facilities that we have to bring them back into operation so that farmers can, duly reap their rewards. Changing the whole mindset of our farming community has also been a challenge, and I think we're getting there with the continuous engagement. So we have done a lot of training this year, and we are proud of that, and we're going to continue to do that. Next year, we're going to roll out more training in the areas of agriculture and fisheries. And so next year, we'll have the beginners farmers training launching in the first quarter of 2025. Because sometimes, when we go out and we look at the farming community, you have an uneven balance where you look at, there are those who know what they're doing, but you can still see a lot of farmers who need the help, right? And so we thought that was very important to address. And lastly, feral animal, the monkeys and the wild pigs. For a long time, I came into agriculture in 2018, and I think from that time to now, feral animals has been a serious challenge, and I'm proud to announce that in short order, we'll see huge reduction in the monkey population and damage from wild pigs. So those are some of the challenges, and I think these are some of the key areas that we are focused on in 2024. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? You can raise your hand to indicate. Oh, okay.
Good morning. Good morning, Glenn Bart from SKN Newsline. My two questions. One, the idea of diversification in agriculture, the idea of sustainability, these are not ideas that are new. They've been around for decades. In St. Kitts and Nevis, there have been many attempts to build out a sustainable agricultural sector, geared towards supplying the local market and regional markets. Unfortunately, 10, 15 years now since all of that activity, we are still at stage one. So my question is, what is going to change now to allow us to reach further and to sustain any progress that is made either in agriculture or in fisheries? That's my first question. Next question, it relates to the Tabasco project. Here is the issue that some people have. You have a sector of food processors on the island. Some of them are into pepper productions, hot sauces, and so forth. But we go outside and we get a foreign company to come in involved in peppers. My question about that, what is the priority really? Is it about building out our own people to a level where they can make the international standards that are available to ship products to Europe, to the United States, anywhere in the region? So why the difference there? Why that discrepancy? Also, was there any consultation taking place between local producers of peppers, the agro-processors? What level of consultation took place? And also, just give us a brief background as to what this Tabasco project will end up being in the long run.
All right, I want to thank you for that question, Mr. Bat, SK Newsline. And I would I would respond briefly and will give my permanent secretary in agriculture also a chance to respond as well. But I want to start with the whole idea of our diversification and sustainability efforts. And you've asked what would have been different from past efforts. And the truth is the approach. What we have sought to do really, and I can't speak entirely on past efforts, I could speak about now, is really analyze the entire value chain of agriculture. And so it's not just improvement in one area. We've analyzed what are the challenges that farmers are facing with land preparation, and we've sought to develop that. We've analyzed what types of seeds that they're planting and how does the climate affect the type of germination, growth, and productivity of that. And we've sought to rectify any problems there. We've looked at what production challenges outside of the seedlings and the growing of seeds that they're having, and we've sought to rectify the challenges there. So let's take our project that we did with the bananas and the pineapples, because we recognize that high quality planting material was a challenge. And so that's why we brought in over 150,000 pineapple slips. That's why we brought in hundreds of thousands of banana and plantain slips. And that's why we are growing for our farmers tomatoes, melons, and different type of seedlings, catering during the year to different conditions. What are drought tolerant, heat tolerant, all these conditions we've considered. But we've looked even beyond that. What happens after the fruit is harvested? How is it handled? How much of it we are losing? Why are we losing it? That's why we invested into storage. And then we even went beyond that. What happens to those that may not meet the fresh market in time? That's why we have done some work on reconstructing the agro-processing unit to be able to handle more capacity, so that if there is something with the tomatoes, and we have here dried seasoning peppers. Why? Because we recognize seasoning peppers were going into spoilage too often, and we had to preserve the shelf life and make them last longer. And so we've analyzed the entire value chain. Where do we sell our food to? Who are our consumers, and where are they? And we've seen the USVI, we've seen the BVI, we've seen St. Martin, we've seen Stacia, we've seen a number of countries, including a number of institutions here. The St. Kitts Marriott Hotel, the Park Hyatt, Rams, Best Buy, Value Mart, all saying for themselves, we are part of more domestic consumption from St. Kitts and Nevis product. And this is where it is. So everything from the land preparation all the way through to the consumer, we've identified the challenges that the people are facing and look to resolve all challenges across the value chain. And I think that is the approach that will create sustainability and longevity in that sector. And so I think that answers your first question. Secondly, I just wanted to talk about the Tabasco project. And I think there is a slight misconception. We are still empowering our local pepper producers. We are still empowering our agro-processors. That is why we have expanded the agro-processing unit. One has very little to do with the other. What we are opening here with this Tabasco project is an avenue for persons who just want to cultivate, to be able to cultivate a crop and have a sure market. Tabasco has said, we will take every single pepper that meets standard from St. Kitts and Nevis. Every single pepper. And so there's no limit to what our farmers can produce. And that is just a sure market. Now, will we stop producing brimstone? Will we stop producing Florel? Of course not. We will enhance that capacity. But one really has very little to do with the other. It is expanding on opportunities rather than looking at it in the perspective of only one could exist at a time. Everything can exist together. Florel can expand and export a pepper sauce. Brimstone can expand and export their pepper sauce. But we could still also grow for Tabasco. And one really does not affect the other as much. And that was our vision for that.
I think you answered the question tonight. but I just wanted to go back on the first one and say that you asked how we are going to sustain. And the truth is, the consistency is key. And in order to get to consistency, there are so many other areas that you had to address. And like the storage, I think, Tanisha, you would have been there longer than I have at the Department of Agriculture. I'm not sure if in all your years at agriculture you have seen such expansion in the storage capacity. And if you're not able to store the produce, then you're only able to supply the supermarkets for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and they want much longer than that. And when you have stuff like sweet potatoes that are always running out, but then the only thing you need to do, other than increasing your production, is to create the storage facility where you can store these sweet potatoes up to 5 to 6 months. Then these are the things that we needed to do in order to ensure that we have consistency. And then, like I mentioned earlier, packaging come into play and all these things in order for you to sustain, because you are not going to get into those markets if you're not able to present your produce in an appropriate manner. And then we can go a bit further and talk about our plant diagnostic lab that we recently launched. And in order to ensure that we can test our produce and ensure that there are no pests and diseases and all those type of things when we're exporting to those countries. So it's a whole new direction, and that we really can move agriculture without including the science. So that's why it's agricultural science. And we're ensuring that we're touching all components of agriculture to sustain the sector.
Question in the back.
Yes, good morning, Bucky Garrick Media. Just to continue where PS will have left off, there's a cry in the public for roaming animals, especially in the Pine Garden. Persons are complaining about the amount of animal walking around, and they can't get to even go walking in comfort because they're scared that a cow will chase them. Maybe they might be walking in feces. What are the department doing about these roaming animals? I know they have owners, because if you hit one, right, you will find the owner eventually. So I would like to know what the department is doing. I know back then they used to have impounding of animals. I am not sure if the department want to go back to that, but I would like to know what have the department done, or what is the department doing about roaming animals. The other thing, when I look at the table, I'm seeing a lot of packaging, which means that some work have been done in terms of showcasing. What are small business doing in terms of having our local product in the supermarket? How are they placed? Are they chucked in a corner so person don't know that these are local product? Are they actually labeled as local? Carnival, it's here. How are we going to showcase our product? Because we're going to have persons coming into our shows, and I'm sure they will want to take back some of our local product.
Yes, I wish to thank you, Bucky Gattit, for your questions. And regarding the roaming animals and the public issue with the roaming animals, I would pass that question over to the Permanent Secretary in Agriculture. And I believe he will also want to touch a bit on the products in the supermarket. But substantially, I'd wish to pass that question down to the Ministry of Small Business as well, to talk about the work that they're doing in enhancing the presence of our small business sector across the board. Yes.
Yes, roaming animals has been a serious issue, and I'm happy you raised it so we can update the general public. And if Mr. Clark himself can remember, and other members from our senior management meetings, this is a topic that we raise a lot. So currently, we are putting a task force together to ensure that we get the support also from legal and law enforcement, because of course persons tend to get very aggressive when it comes to the animals, right? And you would know that well. So we want to ensure that we don't put our employees at risk. So that is why we are forming that task force, so we can have that support. We have discussed reconstructing the pound. I think it is a direction that we'll definitely have to go, because even when we put out all the different rules and regulations and saying this is what we're going to do, some persons will still allow their animals to go out and vandalize even person's property and sometimes on their vehicles, and you come home feces on your porch and all these type of things, and we believe that this is totally unacceptable. So we are going to reintroduce the pound, and we're putting a task force together, and we're going to be very serious about roaming animals in 2025. And I think the Ministry of Agriculture and Small Business work closely together when it comes to our respective ministries. And I think Ms. Taylor is well set and able to answer the second question.
Thank you, PS Fleming. Like PS mentioned, we constantly work in collaboration with each other, not just the Ministry of Agriculture, but with also the Department of Creative Economy, where we intensify the awareness opportunities to allow the small businesses to showcase their local products and services, like events such as Midnight Escape, because you mentioned Carnival is coming up, and the night market, quarterly night markets. That's an opportunity or platform to allow the small businesses to showcase their local products. And based on past experience, you see a phenomenal turnout for all the events, and small businesses are often given great recognition for their products. We have also been collaborating with local supermarkets. Miguel P.S. Fleming could attest to that. Now that we have these beautiful products, beautifully labeled and packaged, we're going into phase 2 now for 2025, where we can now negotiate with the local supermarkets. And he mentioned something earlier, off topic, but it's still relatable in terms of consistency. And that's something we're working with the small business also, because we don't want, when you pass the aisles and the hot sauce and these beautiful products are normally there, next week they are not there because they can't keep up with the demands for the supermarket. So that's something we are working closely with the small business to make sure they have the technical support to be able to have consistency, and continue working with them with the product labeling and packaging, and move into the phase 2, as I previously mentioned, with the supermarkets to get more of our local products on the shelves.
Thank you. We have a question here.
Good day, Ket Fuentes, ZIZ. My question regards sporting facilities. One of the organizations that has been, a bit complaining in some sense about not having a facility is the Swimming Association. While I know we can't have a pool overnight, what is being done to assist these young athletes as they also have competition in the first year? Another group that is going to be competing in the first quarter of 2025 will be track and field. And with the Ken Collins Stadium down, what is being done to help our young athletes prepare properly for these competitions as they continue to represent us?
All right, I want to thank ZIZ for that meaningful question. Now, I will address this briefly, and then I will also have the Permanent Secretary in Sports address it as well. But let me speak just briefly on facilities. I have been Minister of Sports now for 2 years and some months. And the truth is, I have witnessed, and I myself have observed, the complaints about Kim Collins, our premier track facility. I have witnessed and observed the complaints about Warner Park Cricket Stadium, our premier cricket facility. I have witnessed and observed the complaints about Warner Park Football Stadium, our premier football facility. I have witnessed and observed the complaints about Basketball City, our premier basketball facility. I have witnessed and observed the complaints about Warner Park tennis facilities, our premier tennis facility. I have witnessed and observed the complaints about Warner Park netball facility, our premier netball facility. And I've also witnessed and observed the complaints about sports that don't have facilities, such as swimming. Likewise, those facilities all around the country. We met every last one of them in a deplorable condition. Every last one. Most of them have not been touched in nearly a decade. And so we had the monumental task on our hands to repair every single sporting facility, especially our premier sporting facilities. And we got to work. But of course, with the budgets and the timelines, we try to prioritize. Water park cricket, water park football. When we got in, there were no lights showing in the football stadium. You can now, remember all the games were going to the technical center at one point. You can now go back to Warner Park and observe and football. We did some work with the cricket stadium as well, with the lighting and the infrastructure. We currently have a team replacing the entire track at Warner Park, at Kim Collins, the entire track. And the PS will speak more to that. We are also renovating the building, and the contract was awarded for that. And that is scheduled to be completed in February, all goes well. And so these works are ongoing. We are now doing some work in preparation for Basketball City for early 2025 as well. But it is a systematic approach that we've had to take, because we met every single last one of them in horrible condition. I would love to just get the budget to fix all at one time. But then that robs from something else. And so we have to find a balance where every year we try to balance out and get some done while we maintain other programs that the government must execute for the well-being of our people. And I would now pass the question over to my permanent secretary in sports.
Thank you, Minister. You highlighted two specific disciplines, so I'll address those two. Earlier this year, the Minister and I would have met with the President of the Swim Association, Mr. Eldon Thomas. He has a proposal from the World Swim Association to provide funding for the provision of a pool. What he asks of the ministry and the government is to provide the land space. So he is to come back with a proposal for us to prepare a submission for the minister to take to cabinet for that to happen. As the minister would have said, the stadium is on track to be ready for February. At present, the preparatory work is being done at the Kim Collins Stadium, preparing the track for, well, let's say land, it's a track, the area for the laying of the new track. Next week, the paving and the asphalt is going to, start going down. The track itself is on its way. It will be on Island on the 11th of December, and the laying of the asphalt, that portion is going to be finished by the second week in December. It has to take a period to dry and cure and all of that, and then the actual laying of the track itself will begin around the middle of January. All goes well, as the minister said, both the facilities, the pavilion and the track will be ready by the end of February. And let me just add, I understand the frustration and the anxiety as it relates to the stadium, but we have the same anxiety and we have the same frustration, but we also support our athletes. We support our athletes across all disciplines, and it wasn't that we were just sitting on our hands and not doing nothing for the stadium. There was lots of work being done in the background, a lot of preparatory work, because it's not a simple, putting on the track is not a simple thing. It takes lots of planning. There were a lot of unforeseen things that popped up, so we had to make sure all the preparatory work was done properly before we begin with the major work. So everything is on track, and the athletes will have back their home in short order.
All right, we'll take one last question.
Good morning. My name is Nicole Tyson with NT Media from St. Croix, also representing One Caribbean Television. And my question is for Ms. Williams regarding Cannabis Board. And I wanted to know, has there been any challenges in regards to formulating the board itself and executing this initiative? That's the first part. And then the second part is in many areas, there's a concern, a concern of barrier of entry into the industry. And so in regards to licensing fees and the upstart costs, what are the specific licenses that are going to be available, the proposed fees, and the support that your division is going to provide any financial assistance for those to participate in the industry?
Yes, Ms. Tyson, I want to thank you for that, for those two questions. And as they were specifically directed to cannabis, I would allow for our director of the Medicinal Cannabis Authority Board to respond. Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you for your question. Welcome to St. Kitts. The first question in terms of the composition of the board and whether there have been any challenges. The board was instituted in June of 2024. We have met several times. As I mentioned in my presentation, there are two major areas that we are looking into. One, we have to establish the authority into a statutory body as anticipated by the legislation. And secondly, to guide the rollout of the licensing implementation. If you look at the Cannabis Act, it states what the licenses are. It lists all of them with the particular fees. I know there have been concerns whether persons will be able to afford the fees. I don't have the fees, I don't have all the fees available in memory, but I of course would direct persons to the Law Commission website, and you could look for the Cannabis Act, and all of those things are, all of the issues that you face, you mention are included in that legislation. But it is of paramount importance to the authority and of course to the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that our people are able to access the benefits and the licenses that will be rolled out when the foundation has been laid. So that is oncoming, and just to say at this venture that our people will have primary space in ensuring that they get the benefits, the traditional farmers, the Rastafari community. For the struggle they have had, we cannot leave them out or leave them by the wayside. So it's at the forefront of the planning and the implementation, but at the current stage, there is not a concrete timeline in terms of when that is going to happen, but we are steadily working towards ensuring that all the foundational work that is necessary to get to that point is being done.
Just let me add quickly that the cost though is going to be affordable for everyone, and if I can't remember the cost, I think it was from like 1,000 right up to 2 million or something like that. But again, it's based on how big you want to go, right? But the act is a very good piece of document which is not prohibitive in no way, shape or form, because I do hear the conversations on the street where persons think that the locals won't be able to benefit, but I can tell you everyone would be able to benefit. Whether it is you want to have a cannabis cafe or you just want to produce and all the different type of products that you want to do, it is there for everybody, and it is well affordable. It all based on how big you want to go. The bigger the rewards, the higher the investment.
All right, in the interest of time, we will not be taking any further questions. You can ask after the press conference. And so without further ado, I will now invite the minister to give his closing remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to say thank you to all of the media houses and everyone that showed up today. I think it was quite an impressive press conference. I want to thank you for your questions because those are the important elements that we could indeed update the general public on matters of their concerns. And you bring those concerns to us and we then provide you the information that would ensure that the general public is up to date with the work that is going on. You see, with the portfolio that I possess, there are a number of different moving parts that we all must pay attention to. But the one thing that I think that is evident is that they all work together for the ultimate good of all people. And one of the things I always am mindful of is that my elements truly serve the grassroots people. Our food heroes, farmers and fishers, our small businesses, our creatives, our athletes, the people that sit at the grassroots. And so I try to ensure that the initiatives that we put forward really trickle down to the root of these people. And we try to make sure that we go out and meet these people where they are. Every one of these ministries, every department has had engagements in the communities of the people that they serve. Why? Because we want to hear from them and we also want to reach them right where they are. And so this is, for me, at the core, the empowerment of our people, the upliftment of St. Kitts and Nevis, the economic advancement of both our urban and rural communities. And I believe through these ministries that fall within my remit, we have been doing exceptional work in reaching these people. Is the work over? No, it is not. We have significant work to do, but I can guarantee you, as my good friend Ms. Tyson says on her show, we are making it happen. And so again, thank you for your trust, thank you for your support, and thank you for your unwavering belief in what we all can achieve together. And let this year not just be a year of progress. Let us ensure that it is the foundation of a legacy that we are building for not just today, but for generations to come. Thank you and good morning.
All right, we are now at the end of the press conference. I wish to thank the media houses. I extend my gratitude to each of you for your presence here today and for your dedication to the principles of democracy and freedom of the press. Your role in keeping the public informed is invaluable, and we appreciate your efforts in ensuring transparency and accountability in governance. I wish to thank the Minister, Permanent Secretaries, and Directors for taking the time out to keep the public abreast on these transformative initiatives shaping the lives of our people. Thank you to the production team, staff, and colleagues who would have contributed to the success of this